And next we have Dreams in Color Poetry. Count. Okay. And this is called Down the Same Road by Sookie. Dreams in Color Poetry. Close your eyes, they said to me. I thought to myself, how hard could this be? Now, picture your guilt and grief. This will give you some relief. Picture a box or barrel. Whatever you choose, it's just the place to keep the blues. I see a shipping container. It's going to have to be big. They'll have to seal the doors on this guilty grief rig. Now you need an opening to put it in there. How would you put it in? Please share. I would cut a hole in the top of it. Maybe it would fit all. Maybe it would all fit. That's how much of it I've got. I'd weld it shut, seal the pot. It may seep out. It's like a fog, and 'cause people to breathe in the smog. Just when I think I have it all, more horrible things come to call. I need to put in so much more. I've been down this road before. Yeah, this makes me
I
think
had
of
to go.
like
I had to go
therapy.
straight back to the start after it ended there to get it again.
Yeah, it makes me think of the circle like that therapy can be, or like when you're at, so he says, I was angry.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can see that in a little bit of sarcasm coming out, or I read it as like sarcasm on the nose,
Yeah,
Angelique,
I can
says
see it
Sookie.
as this huge eye roll right at the beginning, like,
Yeah,
all right, yes, I'm gonna do this, and the idea of yeah,
yeah, and then they just walk
picturing,
you through this
picture it.
ridiculous picture. I hate it when people say that. Picture a box. Put your worries
Yeah,
in a box and shut them away. And I always want to go, well, if you put your worries in a box and shut them away, you're not actually handling the situation, are you?
but it's as ridiculous as saying you might as well just say, imagine you don't have any worries. Because that's what you're telling them to do. So yeah, put them in a box. Yes, an imaginary box. So you're just imagining this. So just imagine you don't have any of these problems. Then you might as well just say
Yeah.
that.
Hello,
So it's
I'm a
distraction.
therapist. Let me
It's
teach you how to
distraction.
deflect from what's actually
Yeah,
going on and pretend
distraction and
it's not
deflection.
real.
That's it. Mm.
Yeah.
Look over
Two
here.
terms I
Put
shouldn't
your
be
problems over
teaching you
here and look
because
over
I'm a
there.
therapist. Yes. Sookie says, right, exactly. Ash says, thumbs up. Yeah, it ticks me off when that happens because it's like, dude, did you not learn in your books? This is exactly what you're supposed to be teaching me not to do because it's not
Hmm.
healthy. Um, and it doesn't help. Uh, Sookie says, mental illness is actually one of my favorite subjects. Yes, Sookie. It Yeah, I can see why you would rant on that. And I like the way that you go about it. And then in that last little bit where because they say just put it in a box and put it away.
Just
And
snarkily
you're like,
describing.
yeah,
All
and then
right.
you're like, and just when I think I have it all, more horrible things come to call. So it's like, well, damn it. Do I open the box? Do I get a bigger box? What do I do? It's just the ridiculousness of the whole treatment for that. Uh,
Mm.
and Sookie
But it's
says,
interesting that they're putting it all into this box, but then saying it may seep out like a fog, causing people to breathe in the smog. And that's kind of like, how you suppress these feelings into this box or whatever and keep packing it in until they explode and then start affecting the people around you. They
yeah,
start getting negatively affected by all the negative things you've suppressed because of this poor way of dealing because
it's
it's not
horrible
dealing with it.
advice.
It's
It's
not a way
horrible
to deal with
advice.
anything. It's a specific
Yeah.
way to not deal with anything. It's terrible.
And Sookie says, mental illness is actually one of my favorite subjects since I have bipolar disorder. I can see where it would be with that, Sookie. And Overlord says, well, it does help to separate what you can't control from what you can for the purpose of discussion and growth, but it can't stay separated. And Sookie
I
says,
think
thank
it's
you.
one of those examples of a therapy that a method that may work for some people, but it's a dangerous blanket method to use. Because I know
Yes.
over here for a period of time, they were very keen on pushing cognitive behavioral therapy, which is like making lists of your regular activities and taking small successes and stuff. And that could not be further from helpful for any issue that I've had. And they kept trying to get me to do it. It's like, you don't understand. I just won't. I'm just not going to do it. So telling me that, yeah, it was very strange that they couldn't get past the fact that it wasn't appropriate for me. So no, just try it. It's like, you're not understanding me at all.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing about that and medicine and healing in general is I get that you're taught from textbooks and you're taught this is what this is and this is supposed to work for this, but people are so, even though humans do have a baseline, and yes, there's certain things that are the same. Everybody really is their own individual person. Things may work the same and may have the same kind of triggers in the brain and this and that, but everybody responds just a little bit different. Everybody,
Well, I mean, and that's just to actual physical, like stuff based on biology and things like that.
yeah.
But yeah, when you start mixing in the conscious and the subconscious, that really confuses things, because you can't, there's a sort of level of blanket things you can do for physical, issues
Well,
to
depends
an
on who you are.
extent.
Yeah.
It depends on who you are, but there's a lot more things that are generally applicable to people's bodies physically, treatment for ailments that are physical. But when it comes to the brain, it's really every individual is pretty much dramatically different and probably requires some very different therapies for seemingly very similar problems.
Yeah, well, the brain is affected by so much, from hormones to surroundings to history to all sorts of things. So that makes sense, and it has to be taken into account. Nash says that's why it's so important to keep the modalities mixed. Yeah, but you can really hear Sookie's frustration in that poem. This little bit of customization, says Ash. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you, Sookie. And writing on
Yes.
such an important subject. Yes, Harry, chemical imbalance is not going in a box. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the brain is confusing anyway, because no one knows how it works. So just trying to be like, yeah, this is going to sort your brain issue out, your mental issue out. It's kind of
You're welcome,
just a little
Sookie.
bit Russian roulette. Yeah, nice piece, relatable, I think.